name is Andy Boyd. I'm from Eastern Oregon, and I've been blacksmithing for 4.5 years. I grew up in a small town called Lostine, Oregon. Has a couple hundred people in it, gas pumps, not even a gas station. You can't even go in and get a candy bar, it's just gas pumps. I wanted a really good hunting knife, and I know I didn't want to go to Walmart and pay stupid money for a garbage knife. And so I went to a friend and just started making knives with him. Made a couple at his shop, using his tools and supplies, and slowly started making my own shop. My starting setup was in an old barn at my parents' place. I had a coal forge that was my grandpa's that he used quite a bit in the 80s and 70s. I had a couple hammers and a couple rudimentary pair of tongs and a really garbage anvil from Harbor Freight. This is one of the hammers that I made. Made it back in 2019. It was one of my first hammers. It's 1.5 pounds, and the cross pattern on there is for your natural swing. Normal hammers are crossed like that, but you have to swing like this. So if you have it at a 45, you can be at your natural swing and you're not messing up your elbow. So this is one of my first hammers that I ever made, and I use it almost every day. I'm currently 21 years old, and I'd like to be able to blacksmith until I'm, 80 or 90. A lot of the blacksmiths I see can't. They're about 60 and they have worn out knees and elbows, so I'm trying to take all the precautions to be able to do it as long as I can. As far as the future goes, I'd really like to just have, a nice little homestead, family, chicken coop, the whole 9 yard. I think that's kind of the basic goal. Currently, I'm just doing this kind of as a hobby. For a while, I was trying to do it full time, but it just wasn't quite making the payments. And that's perfectly fine with me. I've kind of helped me realize that if I rely on this, it's not going to be as fun, and I'm not going to love it. I don't want it to be annoying. Right now, I'm pretty happy with it just being a hobby, and I can stick to really just enjoying it. Keep work separate and this fun. I think what has kept me blacksmithing is the stress relief. If you have a bad day in school or in a relationship, you can just go out to the shop, turn on your propane forge, get a piece of steel to 2,000 degrees, and you can just pick up a 5, 8, 12-pound hammer, and you can just swing at it until you're not pissed off anymore. You can take off all your stress. And I've done that multiple times, where you just take a piece of steel, I don't even know what it is, I just grab a piece and I hammer it into a pancake. I'm not trying to make anything. When you get in the routine of making a knife or making a tool, you don't think about what you're doing, you just do it. Muscle memory type of a thing. And I find that very, very relieving, very helpful. As a guy, you just gotta mush stuff sometimes. I think the only constant in my life in the last, 4.5 years has been my blacksmithing. I was homeschooled and ended up dropping out. I had a relationship that failed, moved here because, trying to get out of that relationship, and my blacksmithing has stayed with me. I moved over, 2,000-3,000 pounds of equipment, an 8-hour drive, so I could keep doing it. One thing I realized when I was sitting here in my shop after a long summer day, I looked at that anvil there and I realized that anvil and blacksmithing is the one thing that won't run away when things get hard. It's always there. Which is why, in that moment, I realized that if I'm gonna get a tattoo, it's gonna be of that anvil. And I called my mom that minute and said, "Hey, I'm getting an anvil tattoo." She goes, "Really? I had a dream a week ago that you got a tattoo and it was an anvil." And so I just knew, that was the right thing to do. Blacksmithing may not be my job, but it helps keep things in perspective. And that's really all I can ask for.